Hey guys, this is Meg Monkeys. This video I want to show you how to make some dice between modeling, texturing, maybe even rendering if you're lucky. And so here's my reference image, and here's what I came up with. And so what I used to make this was a Boolean effector, MoGraph cloner. That's pretty much it, to be honest. It's quite simple. If this video is kind of long, don't let that scare you. It's not because it's hard, it's just kind of repetitive. And so let's get started with a new scene. And also, if you're not using Cinema 4D, all of the stuff I'm doing, you should be able to replicate in other software packages. And I'll just figure out what the equivalent things are, but it should be pretty similar. So let's start off with a basic primitive cube, and actually before we do this I'm going to take my picture viewer, which I have docked here, but you can also grab from window picture viewer, and I'm going to grab this and just dock it over here and drag this over, just so that I have my point of reference open so that I can see what I'm working with. Just try and maximize my screen real estate because I don't have a very big monitor. Okay, so we have our cube, which will be the basis for our die. We will add a fillet to add this roundness to the die, and let's see, maybe 20, probably 20 will look good. We don't need that many subdivisions. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe bump it up. It's kind of up to personal choice here. And so what we're going to do now, because we have the basis, is to add the dots. You see these aren't actually just little dots painted on, they're kind of carved out. That's not really the right verb to use there, but we will add a sphere, bring it out here. Let's make it 20, I think. Yeah, 20 looks about right. And I also have my references, this image, which shows the formation of the points on a die, which I'll be using as reference. So let's take this first face of the cube, and that will be the 1 point, and we will just drag it into here, and I will rename this 1, just so I can try and keep myself organized. And so we can see above 1 there's 4, so I will take another sphere, make it 20 centimeters diameter, bring it up, grab MoGraph cloner, drag it underneath, and rename this 4, and go into the cloner, and so you can see there are 4 arranged like this. So to do that, I will grab grid array and 2 by 2. Just have to make sure I'm in the right axes, which now I am. I'll bring this up, and we need to make this closer together so they fit on the die. 150, no, let's be closer than that. Try 125. Oops, that's 215. I'll bring it down to 100. Alrighty, and maybe bring it up a bit. We can fiddle with this later. Okay, and then below the 1 is 3. So again, we'll grab a sphere, bring it down to 20, grab MoGraph cloner, rename this 3, and so this will be linear because you can see it is in a linear formation. Bring it down, but now it's just vertical, the y-axis, and we want it to be 0 on the y-axis. We want it to be diagonal, so we'll put it in both the x and the y, but that's not separated enough, so let's try and bump it up. That might be too much. Let's bring it over. That's definitely too much, so let's go 35 maybe. I think that looks better. Try and center it. Bring it up. It's just in contact. See how this looks. And I'm using the F keys as shortcuts. F1 is perspective, F2 is top, F3 is right, F4 is front, and F5 is the split. So maybe we should use it a little bit more. Let's go with 40. If I haven't said this already, it's kind of up to your personal choice. We'll try and center the middle one here using the axes. Press F1 to come back into our perspective mode, and we'll see that below that is 6, so we will grab another sphere, MoGraph cloner under there, and 20. Bring it out. Okay, so we have 6 organized like that, so I think we'll use grid array. Bring that down to 1. It's tough remembering which axes. Alright, there we go. 3, we want 2, wrong one, 2, so you can see we've got that there. And we need to bring this in closer. That looks pretty good. Just check that it's centered, which it is. So now to go back to 1, which was our pivot point, and to the right of it, we've got 2. So grab another sphere, MoGraph cloner, and this 2, bring the sphere to 20. We'll drag this out. Okay, so we've got like the 3 a diagonal, so we got linear. Bring it down to 2 though, because we've only got 2. 0, and I think we had this at 40. Oh, wrong axes. 40 and 40. Oh, we can definitely bring it up though. Maybe 60 and 60. Drag this down, over. Let's see. This one's going to be a little trickier to center. So I think we can maybe bring this up to 75. Yeah. Alright, I'm just going to eyeball this. I think that looks pretty good. And then on the other side, we've got, what do we got? 5. This one will be slightly different. but still same idea. Grab a sphere, graph cloner, 25, and let's go to grid array. Take out the depth. Okay, drag her back. And we'll just make everything a bit closer. Try 150. No, let's do 100. Oh, that's 100 meters. You gotta watch out for that. Alright, that looks pretty good, but we've got 9 instead of 5, so we will hit the cloner and hit C to make it editable. You can also hit this, and that will turn it into all these spheres, and we will delete the ones that we don't need. You can see here. There might be a better way to do this, but that's just what I found. So we got 5, and I think all of this it's full. So some of them aren't quite touching the cube though. We want to keep it as even as possible, but I'm not sure how we can make it make them all perfectly inset into the cube. So we'll just we'll do our best. Come out maybe a bit. We can use our isometric views to try and see. Like this one, I think can come in a bit compared to these ones. There's the 2. That one should come in more. One's good. Okay, switch views. It looks alright to me. And so what we're gonna do now, because now we just have a bunch of bumps on our die, which is pretty silly. So we're going to grab all of these except for the cube and hit Alt G to group them. You also could have right clicked and gone to group objects. And we will, so all of these are in a group and the cube is left. So we will go under this array menu. Well, it's not the array menu, but the array is the icon. And go to boole and drag both of these as children and go to the boole menu, and you can see we've already got what we want. A is subtract B. So if you need more explanation, this boole is making A subtract, so the geometry of it, which you can see, is subtracting, taking away from B. So like it cuts it out from that. So hopefully you can see that, because I don't know how to better explain that. And a cool thing is that if we make a material, we can drag it on to the null, and it only affects what we the part that the null is affecting in the boole, which saves us a lot of time in texturing. So what I did for this render is I just used some default materials. So I went to File, Load Material Preset, Broadcast, Resources, Materials, and Glossy. I used a wet one. I modified it a bit. I took away the environment. I think I upped the reflection maybe up to 50. And you should do your own messing with it. And I applied it to the cube, and then I duplicated the material by holding Control and dragging it, and then I modified the color to be white, and I applied that to the null, and now we just need to add some lights, but this video is already 15 minutes, so instead I'll just show you my old scene. Basically all it is I have, oh, where am I? Okay, I've got this this cube with it's essentially a three-point lighting system. I made it editable. I selected this polygon, gave it a luminous material at 300% with blue. On the other side, it is a orange-yellow material at 350 brightness, and then a plain luminant is a no color with 150 brightness as kind of a fill light. And the bottom material is it's just a glossy reflective material so that you get this reflection. I turn on global illumination, ambient occlusion, depth of field for this blurriness in the background, which isn't really necessary. And yeah, so, oh, actually, I don't really need to mention this, but I just duplicated the object, rotated it, applied different materials. I don't really need to go back to tell you that. I'm sure you could have figured that out. But that is all. I'd like to thank you for watching. This has been definitely one of my longer videos, longest video so far. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. And thanks for watching. Goodbye.